Dependency is a difficult situation. I mean, we often look down on people that are panhandling and asking for money.
But there is a cycle of dependency in our country that we've created that tells people that if you ask enough cars that drive by you on the road, you're going to get enough money eventually to have your fast food money and your cigarette money for the week.
They're working in a system that we've created as believers. We're told to give to the poor, so we do that. So a homeless person knows that if they work about 4 hours a week panhandling, they'll generate enough income to pay for what they need. And sometimes that's aspirin or McDonald's, but often drugs and alcohol and stuff. So there's no shortage of food or medical supplies or clothing. So you're not meeting a need when you're giving somebody money, you're just kind of maintaining that dependency.
Really what they're looking for when they come up to you and ask you for something is probably deeper than money. Acknowledging them, introducing yourself, making eye contact, treating them like you would treat your neighbor who comes up to you in your driveway is important to acknowledge that they are people that are made in God's image, just like we are. And their needs are usually much deeper than I need $5 for gas. It's usually I need a friend or I need to be shown some love today. My name is Wendy Caberto, and my husband and I run a nonprofit here in Ocala, Florida called Wear Gloves.
Doing this work for close to 10 years now, and primarily work with distressed folks, homeless, people that are in distressed positions in our society. Well, there is criteria that dictates what a homeless person is. Not having a primary residence for 90 days, I think, is the criteria, a mailing address. So the number is there, but we primarily work with folks that are in distress. We have some people that live in houses that work for us that are just one step from being homeless. We know that the state is reporting close to 2,500 homeless children that actually go to Marion County schools that are documented. We know that that number is low because we serve so many moms that are living in their cars with their kids that don't want to report that they're homeless because they don't want to lose their kids. A complex situation, that's why homeless isn't really a usable term anymore, That's why we use the term distressed. People that are in a position that nobody's there for them. So we try to fill that gap.
We really started to study scripture. How did Jesus love people? He met them where they were. He did not set up feeding lines. He didn't give away anything for free. He held people accountable. And that's how he loved. And if he's our example, then that's how we try and love. We realize that every human is made in God's image, no matter what kind of past they've had or what kind of choices they've made. And to love people deeply looks a lot different than what we had been taught. Wear Gloves has kind of three ministries that's a part of it. One of them is Church in the Garden, where we facilitate a church for homeless people.
That distressed folks don't often feel welcome in our corporate churches. They feel that they don't smell right. The ladies from the streets tell us that the ladies in the church look at their shoes, which makes them uncomfortable. I don't really get that, but we've heard that numerous times.
And we meet outside. We have a full band and worship service, communion, and teaching on Saturday mornings. And we meet them where they are. And they basically lead and run the church, sharing testimonies, playing music, and serving all of the food, and set up and tear down is all done by them.
It's really church that's outside for folks that live outside. Cool thing about that and kind of the goals of Church in the Garden is not just to provide that worship service for distressed folks. It's really a way to break barriers. We do church around round tables and picnic tables where folks that live on the streets and folks that don't sit together. They read the Lord's Prayer together, they eat together, they sing together, and that's changing things. People are seeing street folks differently because they're worshiping with them. It's kind of beautiful.
One of the other things that we do is we run a job center called the Dignity Center, where people can come in and earn things that they need instead of having to panhandle or receive charity.
It's very difficult for folks in need to earn what they need. Nobody is going to give a person that lives in a tent a chance for a job. So we started it with the intention of allowing folks to come in to the Dignity Center and work for what they need, whether that be gas for the car that they're living in or help people transition from a tent to housing.
A lot of our homeless friends, we've learned, don't like to receive charity. It makes them feel less than or different than other people in our town. They like to work and earn the things that they need, just like everyone else. So that's what we allow them to do by creating art, working in construction, printing t-shirts, making jewelry, whatever we can come up with that they can make with their hands. We don't pay cash. We pay the equivalent of $10 an hour to anyone who comes into the Dignity Center, but they get paid in whatever their goal item is. That next step for some people might just be a pair of steel-toed boots so that they can go to a day labor and get a job. It might be a bicycle so that they can get around town easier. It might be a new tent because it's been rainy lately and maybe there's leaks. It might be saving up for a security deposit to get inside. So we meet with each person individually, and everybody has different goals, and we help meet their goals. So at Wear Gloves, the third thing that we do is a new adventure for us. We're roasting coffee now. So we just launched Dignity Roasters, and we have homeless and distressed people here in our town that are learning the art of coffee roasting.
But we started with roasting coffee beans. So we're getting fair trade beans from a farm in Brazil, and we're bringing them in, and we're empowering distressed folks to learn how to roast and bag and ship and grind.
Through this roasting business, though, we're able to employ people full-time. Because people like coffee. We're selling quite a bit of coffee, and we're hoping that it continues to grow so that we can continue to house people that are working at the Dignity Center roasting coffee.
I mean, we understand the greatest commandment, love God, love others. One thing that's very important for us all to really understand is that we cannot truly love God unless we are seeking to love those that He loves, which is everybody that God puts in our path. So we often complicate it, in trying to figure that out. We think we need to do something as complex as a feeding line, and it's really not that way. It's not what Jesus did. He simply walked around and talked to people,